Hi everyone, it's Bethany and I'm back with another Father's Day tutorial. In this tutorial we are going to be making a coffee mug, and I honestly think coffee mugs are just a wonderful gift for just about anybody because everyone loves to sip something warm, plus you can personalize them for the gift receiver. So I thought this would be a fun tutorial. I'm going to use a design that calls for two different colors. So we are going to be using the Cricut Joy, and I do have some full-size vinyl that we're going to be using. Both of them are Oracal 651, I believe, but I'll double check. That one is, and so is this one, I believe. Yes. Okay, so these are both a permanent vinyl. I recommend using a permanent vinyl when you are doing any type of drinkware just because it's going to be an item that comes into contact with water, and especially when washing. So I think that it's just a better choice to use a permanent vinyl just to help with the longevity of your final product. So what I'm going to do is use two different adhesive vinyls, and then I'm going to cut them down to size so that we can place them on the Cricut Joy mat and then feed them through the Joy, because obviously right now they are too big. We're also going to be using some of this clear grid line transfer tape, and I'll link it below. This is actually new to me. I've used it a couple times before, but I have just fallen in love with it, and I really like using this on projects that have layers. So since we're going to be layering and doing two different colors for this one design, it's really helpful to have something with grid lines and something that's see-through just to help everything line up. I don't know if I mentioned the paper trimmer. I think I did, but anyway, cutting down the vinyl with the paper trimmer, the Cricut Joy mat obviously to help feed the vinyl into the machine, and then we're going to measure our design with this little measuring tape. And as for tools, some scissors and a weeding tool come in handy, as well as a scraper or a squeegee. We're also going to be applying some rubbing alcohol to the cup just to help clean it all off and get it ready. I'll link this cup down below as well. I love this mug. It is so nice. I got it off of Amazon, and I did another tutorial, I'll link it up here, where I did coffee cups for our essential workers, and this cup is just so nice. It gives you a lot of space, so it gives you a little bit more of a freedom to pick a bigger design. And then it's also just really heavy duty and nice. So if you guys want to know more about that mug, I'll just put it in the description box below. Okay, so as for our design, I am thinking no wider than 3 inches and no taller than 3 inches. So other than that, we've got a 3x3 design that we kind of want to stay around. Let's go and hop into Design Space, and we will start getting the little design all prepped out, and I will show you how I'm going to get it all printed out on the mat. I think I'm going to try to do both cuts with two different colors of vinyl on one mat just to save me a little bit of time. All right, let's get started. Okay, so I'm just going to add the file that I want to use today, and I'm going to go over to the images, and I'm going to type in best dad ever. And then I am going to be using this image right here. Isn't this neat? And plus, I was inspired by the colors of it too, so I went ahead and just replicated those colors with some vinyl that I had on hand, thank goodness. So I'm going to go ahead and insert images, and now it's in the canvas. So I'll make this a little bit bigger. Now what we're going to do is we are simply going to size this down. So we are going to size this. I'm going to look at the height, and I want that height to be at about 3 inches. So right about there is great. And that makes the width at 1.9 roughly. So that's going to be perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to make sure my Joy is selected. Now you can make this on any cutting machine. So if you want to make it on the Explore machine or the Maker, then that's perfectly fine as well. I'm going to go and simply click Make It. And what it's going to do is it's going to ask me how I'm going to cut this out. So I'm actually going to do on the mat because I'm going to be using some Oracal 651 vinyl. So that is for any material. We're going to go ahead and click on mat and say done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try to do all my cutting on one mat just to save me a little bit of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the second mat. I'm going to click on the image and click on the 3 dots up here, and I'm going to say move object. Now it's going to ask me which mat I want to place it on, and I'm going to select the first mat and click confirm. So now it's showing me that I have both of them on one mat. So what I'm going to do now is, let's see, I think this was the teal, wasn't it? Okay, so I'm going to put this up here, just like
so. And then I am going to rotate this and put this right here. Let's say at the 3-inch, roughly. Okay, so now that I've done that, I can still do a navy blue down here, and I can still do the teal up here. I will just change, or I will just put those on the mat accordingly. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to note that I need a 2-inch by 3-inch piece for the teal. And then I'm going to need about a, let's see, well, about 3-inch by, let's say 2.5 for my blue. And then I'll just place the blue down here. And you guys will see how I do this once you watch me cut out the vinyl. But for now, we're just going to note where on the mat all of these are, and then we're going to put our vinyl accordingly. So I could put them up here, but I just think it's a little too close. It's a little bit easier for me to remember to place that other one on 3 and then just go about 5.5. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to select continue. Now it's just going to locate the joy, and then we can select our material. I'm going to go ahead and select premium vinyl, and then I'm going to maintain default pressure, which is just fine. And now we can start loading our material. As we're loading our material, we can just hover over here to make sure we remember where the vinyl pieces need to be placed in order to have them cut perfectly, and then we will be able to get cutting.
Okay, so now I am just going to start cutting down my vinyl, and I'm using my Design Space again just to refer to that mat as I'm getting ready to get everything trimmed down. So it looks like for the teal, I'm going to need 2 inches by 3 inches. So I will go ahead and place my vinyl in my paper trimmer. It just really is an easy way to help measure your vinyl really quickly. So I will go, and I kind of go, just over, if it's 2 inches, I'll just go a hair over just to give myself a little bit more room. Okay, so 2. And then I'll just flip that around and do by 3. That's going to be a really nice size design, I believe. Okay, so there is our first piece, and then I know according to Design Space that this is going to go right up here so it can cut out the first little part. Make sure that's on there really straight. Okay, now I will go ahead and do the same for the navy, and I like to put washi tape on my vinyl and HTV to keep it rolled up because it doesn't leave a residue, at least it shouldn't, and it's a lot more forgiving than Scotch tape. So then for the next color, it looks like I need about 2.5. I'm going to go 2.5 just to be safe here. Okay, there we go. And then again, referring to the mat on my screen, I know exactly where I need to place my second little piece of vinyl. So it's at the 3. And that's why I like kind of putting it on, a number line, just because it makes it so easy. So it was about 3, and then I gave it a little bit more room at the bottom. So this is how we are going to cut out both designs on one mat. So easy. Now we can go ahead and simply load the mat by simply pushing it against the wheels. It's going to make sure that it is aligned. And then we can go ahead and click go, and it will start cutting. In the meantime, I will take some rubbing alcohol and just clean off the surface of my mug. Now remember, you can also do the design on both sides of the mug if you'd like. I'm only going to do it on one side, but if you would like to do it on both sides, you would just simply duplicate your design, and you would do that by in Design Space in the canvas section. You will see it on the right hand side. You'll just say duplicate, and then it will give you 2 designs, and then you would just cut out 2. So this is just helping remove any oils or anything that got onto the mug. That way the vinyl just adheres really, really nicely onto a smooth surface. And that is about done cutting, so we can already start weeding. Okay, so we'll go ahead and unload our mat. Oh, it looks perfect. So cute. And how fast was that? Now we didn't have to load our mat up again. Perfect. Okay, so we have number 1 and number 2 here. Okay, so I'm just going to take my weeding tool and I will start weeding out my first design. And the measurements were perfect. I barely have any wasted vinyl, so that's nice. I also always like to, looks like I have one that's just trying to stick, there we go. I kind of went a little fast with that, so I would recommend going a little bit slower. Okay. What was I going to say? Lost my train of thought there. There we go. Perfect. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, so now I'm just going to weed out the middles. Just like that. I love the colors of this, and it was so easy because it was already designed that way, and then luckily I just had those colors on hand, which is wonderful. Okay, and then this second one. And if you want with smaller pieces, you can actually, turn this over and just grab your scraper and just make sure everything is in its spot before weeding. And then just take it slow. I just did a project, you guys, with iron-on, and I feel like when you do a project with iron-on, which is much more forgiving to weed, and then you go to vinyl, you kind of forget to slow down a little bit because vinyl is less forgiving and the pieces kind of pull up a lot easier. Oh, I love this. This is so cute. Plus, it was a pre-made design, so this project is so fast. You could do this, if you weren't chit-chatting like I am, you could probably do this in less than 10 minutes. So, very quick project and very cute results. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my transfer tape. And I love, one thing I really love about this transfer tape is the grid lines really help with measuring out the amount that you need. So you barely waste any in the process as well. So that's awesome. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I think they are both roughly the same size. Okay, so I'm just going to place that right over, and I'll just cut out how much I need. So just put a little mark here, a little mark here, and I can cut. And now you can reuse transfer tape as long as you feel like it has enough stick to it. So I am planning on just using one small piece for this entire project. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to use my weeding tool. I just use it like I am weeding vinyl, and I just grab a corner, pull that up, just like that. Okay, now I have to decide. I might refer to my Canvas screen again in Cricut Design Space just to see. Okay, so best, and then if I lay these over, I can just kind of get an idea for where, I think that is about right. So let's kind of, I'm just laying that over for just a second. Where did I put my measuring tape? Right here. That way I can see we are about 1.25 inches from the top. That should be about right. Okay, I'm going to lay this one down first. I'm going to grab, or just lay this over, and trying to go as straight as I can. Ooh, that was a good one. Okay. Sometimes I surprise myself sometimes with when things go just as I wish they would go. Okay, I'll make sure okay, I thought maybe I missed a piece weeding, but I think I didn't. Okay. Okay, so now I'm just going to grab something to wedge under my coffee mug and we will get started. Okay, so I have a little roll of Scotch tape, which works perfectly. You just need to wedge it so you're not trying to hold it and lay your vinyl down at the same time. So now I'm just going to flip this over and peel away the carrier sheet that it was cut on. Okay. Perfect. Now I'm just going to lay this down as straight as I can. I think that's where I was with the Okay, so you guys see how helpful the grid lines can be with straightening? Okay, so I'm just going to put, I laid that down, and then I'm just going to go with my thumb and kind of go from the inner middle parts out. Then I'm going to just grab my little squeegee tool and really, really press down. Okay. Then I can just peel up that transfer tape, and we have the front, or the first one done. Okay, so now I can simply grab the second. Let's see, that actually worked really well. Okay, and then I will just scrape that down. And you can do any design that you like. If you find something else, I would encourage you just to type in Dad in the Cricut Design Space images section, and there are so many things and so many designs. So make sure you personalize this that for, you know, your dad, what he likes. There's so many options, or just a style that you like better. I personally loved this one. Okay, and then we are simply going to, I personally struggle with a lot of transfer tape, so if there's too much, I like to just cut it down. For some reason, if I have less transfer tape to work with, I'm much more successful. It's just sometimes it gets to be too much and too overwhelming for me. Okay, so I'm going to go just like, okay. So again, just going down the middle and then rubbing out to the sides. And that transfer tape had plenty of stick to do the second layer, so that's wonderful. We used very little material for this whole project. It was awesome. This is coffee mugs are also a wonderful time to use your scrap vinyl, because we use just tiny little, almost 3 by 3 inches, even less than that for this project. So make sure you look in your scrap bin too. Okay, whoops, ooh, there was one that was just not quite down. Really, if that happens, you just go over it one more time. Okay, let's try again. Whoop, that one too. Okay. Nice and slow. Make sure they're all down. And that worked perfectly. Ooh, these little rays down there kind of struggled a little bit. Okay, but they will be just fine. They're down now. See, that transfer tape does have a little bit of a stick to it, so even the second time around it did. Okay, perfect. Oh, I love how that looks. So cute. What do you guys think? How cute is that? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this aside. We still have plenty of time until Father's Day. So we have plenty of time for it to cure. So I set it aside for at least a couple days to just really let that vinyl cure. And then it will be ready for coffee on Father's Day morning. So that will be awesome. Okay, so for care instructions, you just want to avoid the dishwasher. Don't leave it laying in a pool of water, so don't leave it in a dirty dishes sink. And then avoid the microwave as well. That will just help protect the vinyl and give it a little bit more long-lasting life. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please give it a thumbs up if you found this helpful, and I hope you guys are enjoying making things for Father's Day. Let me know what you guys are making. I love hearing about your guys' crafts, so I would love to hear what your ideas for Father's Day are this year. And we have one more Father's Day tutorial coming up, and will be available in the next video. All right, everyone, have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.